Today we're going to talk about how to become a professionally paid speaker. So not only how do you speak, but how do you get paid to do it, and how do you make a living doing it. 5 steps we're going to cover today, and the reason we're going to talk about that is because I get a question asked a lot of times: how do I go from free to fee? There are a lot of places that you can speak for free. You can go to your church, you can speak in community groups, you can speak for Toastmasters. There's a lot of times you can work on your speaking and go somewhere to speak, but a lot of people have trouble then converting that to say, hey, how do I make a living doing this? And I'm grateful that I make a living doing this, so I'm here to share with you 5 steps to help you get there. And the first step is quite simply know your audience, know your buyer, and know your promise. Audience, you want to know who you're speaking to. Buyer, you want to know who's the person bringing you in to speak to that group. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different. For example, I spend a lot of time speaking to schools, and I know that my audience is students, but students for the most part aren't hiring me to speak. It's the principal or the conference organizer or the state advisor, whoever. You want to make sure you know who that person is that hires the person to bring them in to speak to the group. And finally, this one is one that a lot of speakers miss, is your promise. You don't just say, I come in and I can speak to your group and I'm a motivational speaker, or I can empower them or make them feel great. You want to give them a promise. 20, 30 years ago, maybe that would have worked. There are not a lot of speakers out there, and so they just wanted someone to come in and speak to their group. But now you actually have to deliver a result. You have to say, you know what, I boost the mental health in students, or I help teams achieve a certain bottom line, or I help teams with change management, or disruption, diversity, whatever it is. You have to have a single line promise, one sentence that says, hey, what do I promise to do for your audience? How is their life going to be different? What are they going to think, feel, and do differently as a result of my speech? You have to know that, you have to be able to say that, and that has to eventually be on your website as well. Next step, and this one is probably the one that's going to keep you speaking the longest. Write your speech and give it a great title. Now, the main part of that is writing a good speech. Your speech is your product. When you go out and you deliver it and people like what you've done and they refer you, that's going to build your business way faster than just trying to get new people all the time to speak for. Now, that is something you have to do. Of course, you have to do outreach. You have to go out there and find places to speak. But if your speech is good, someone's going to be in your audience and say, hey, listen, I like what you did. Come do this for my group. So the best thing you can do is work on crafting your speech. I have a lot of videos to help you write your keynote and just get that refined. That's my expertise as a speech coach. But when you write a great speech, that is going to take you a long way in this business. Now, when it comes to titling your speech, what's important is really just make sure it speaks to what your audience wants and needs, right? So if you are speaking on productivity, be your most productive self might be a speech title. One thing that works really well in subtitles is give them something that makes them say, ooh, I really want that. So it might be 4 steps to achieving your best year ever, something like that. The title and the subtitle, I'll tell you where those are most important. Those are most important when you are a speaker that is maybe speaking at a conference where people at the conference have a choice. They can choose between 2 or 3 different sessions to go to. Your title and your subtitle, that's when that's going to come into play. That's going to come into play when you put it on your website to make sure it markets to the person that's bringing you in. Oh, I want that speaker for that speech. That's when it's going to help. But after that, it's really just the content of the speech, how people react to it, and how engaging you are as a speaker, and how relevant and helpful your content is to your audience. Step 3, deliver your speech and film it. Now, you want to film it so that you can create like a short little demo or highlight reel of you speaking. I will give you a warning right up front. You don't need to pay a ton of money right in the beginning to do that. I made my first demo video by just kind of cutting up pieces of something that a professional videographer did for me. And when I say professional, it was actually a student. I went to a university and I hired a film student who was eager to do a great job. Didn't break the bank for me, but she made some good money and she did a great job for me. And that video I took pieces of it and I made what I call my demo video, which is just really telling the person who's bringing me in, showing them that I can speak in front of an audience, I can engage with them, and showing my speaking style. So don't get too obsessed with this in the beginning. As you grow, you can invest more money in, videography and professional demo video and all of that. But in the beginning, get out there, practice your speech. When you think you get it to maybe like a 7 out of 10, then get someone to film it for you. And that way you have some footage that then you can show to people to say, hey, you know what? Not only do I speak about this, but here's some footage of me delivering this to someone. But don't make it crazy in the beginning. I've seen demo videos where someone bought their own tripod, they put their iPhone on it, and they just set it up in a room when they filmed, because you just need a couple of minutes that shows that you're competent, you know what you're doing, and that is the first step. So don't over obsess over it, but get yourself on film as soon as you can. Next, you want a website. You want to have a website, and all you need is really a one-page website that has your name, your tagline, your promise, what you offer. You want to have that clip of you speaking if you have that, what you offer, your main speech. I would start with one speech to start. You want to have testimonials, and you know what? You can get testimonials from anyone, even if you don't have a lot of talks under your belt. If you gave a Toastmasters talk and someone said it was really good, you use that as a testimonial. You can be so creative with it. And then, of course, how to contact you as well. Very simple. When it comes to website, I'm not going to tell you that you have to hire someone to build it. If it's not your expertise, it's probably the best move to do that. My first website, all I did was I went on YouTube and I studied hours and hours of WordPress content to make my own. But that was me. I spent a lot of time doing it. Maybe I shouldn't have spent so much time doing that, but you decide what's best for you. But get yourself a website, make sure it looks good, but it doesn't have to be, a website that you spend tens of thousands of dollars on. Just get yourself out there, tell people what you do, show them what you do, and keep it simple. And finally, this is one that unfortunately I've seen clients fall off on, because what I'll do is I will set up a call with someone who wants to speak and help them write their speech and get going, get a good speech done. We rehearse it together, we work on it, we bring it to a 7, 8 out of 10 just in our coaching sessions. And then I say, hey, listen, this is what you got to do next. You have to go out there, you have to collect names of people that you want to speak for. You have to reach out. You have to have a system. And this is the last step. Have a system for reaching out consistently to speak. And this is the one where people find out, hey, listen, the speech writing part is almost the easy part, because you do that once and you work on it over time. But really the reaching out over and over again and hearing rejections and having people ghost you and not write back and saying, I'm going to keep reaching out and being consistent with that, that's the part that takes real guts, real intestinal fortitude to really keep doing over and over again. If you have that persistence, you'll make it. I once heard one of my mentors say that if you don't make it in the speaking business, it's only because of one of two reasons. Either you're not a good speaker or you're not a good marketer. And I will tell you right off the bat, I've seen a lot of people that aren't that great at speaking making 6- and 7-figure incomes because of their speaking and their coaching. And I'm not saying that to put anybody down. I'm saying that you don't have to be amazing as a speaker. You have to provide value. You have to keep working at it, and you have to care about your audience. Where a lot of people fall off is the marketing. They think, okay, I'm going to apply to 100 places and that's going to build my speaking business. But I promise you, whatever you think in your head is going to take more effort on the marketing side, getting yourself out there, putting your name in front of people and becoming known. It's going to take a lot more of that than you think. But if you have that persistence, that willingness, you'll make it. If you can speak and write your speech, that's fine. But don't forget, you got to get out there and market yourself and say, hey, listen, this is what I do. Would you like to hire me as well? I hope these 5 steps were helpful. A lot of times people hear a lot of things you have to do to become a professional speaker, but I just wanted to make this video to make it real simple for you. Those 5 steps are what you need. Let me know if this helps.